Imagine you're a pet store worker and the boss tells you you can't sell fish without a cycle tank. So you start your shift and the first customer says, "I want that fish." Feeling confident, you say, "You can't have the fish without a cycle tank." Then out of nowhere, the customer asks, "What? Why? What's that mean?" And you're absolutely floored? Well, you're in luck, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. This cycle is called the nitrogen cycle. And not to alarm you, but I'm about to change how you view the world forever. Did you know that the nitrogen cycle is happening constantly around us? In both land and in water. The nitrogen cycle takes anywhere between 7 and 50 days to complete, with more water, like my 55-gallon tank here, taking more time to complete. In order to observe this process, we are going to start our own tank from scratch. Here I have a 10-gallon tank, and after this I'm going to add some rocks to the bottom of this, carefully, not to break my tank. From here, I'm going to start adding 1 gallon of water at a time and then marking off that gallon once I put it in. This helps with water changes, which is equally as important as feeding your fish. Let's add a little Sasha. Let's add a baby Sasha. After this, you're gonna need conditioner. And lastly, the filter. Not sponsored, by the way. Please don't come after me. If you want to sponsor me, that'd be great, though. There we go. Yay! Our very cloudy tank has flow. And just like that, you've given your contained ecosystem permission to create and maintain life. Although we now have this contained ecosystem, this still doesn't answer the question as to what the nitrogen cycle actually is. The nitrogen cycle is just a process of gases being pulled into the air to create bacteria. These said bacteria then use these gases in order to break down components made by living things. These components are usually food, decaying plants, and poop. The completion of this cycle allows for fish, plants, and other living things to stay alive. Now then, my friends, we are at the end of the video. Just kidding, because if I ended it there, my months and months and months of research would go to waste. The 3 main steps of the nitrogen cycle are ammonification, nitrification, and denitrification. Denitrification. I think that's how you say it. You know what's really funny? Is I moved this, but I need this for this bit. So, ammonification is the process of creating ammonia. In order for your tank to support life, it first must create life. And this happens from day 1 by pulling nitrogen, organic nitrogen, from the air into the water. This happens by having an incredibly strong filter with a high waterfall. Nitrogen is then pulled from the air into the water and it mixes with oxygen to create bacteria. This bacteria then creates ammonia. Ammonia isn't really bad for your tank, but too much of it is not super great. Around day 2 and 3, we see a spike in ammonia, or NH4+, and this is what we call mass die-off. This die-off of bacteria is what creates ammonia. Have nothing to fear, nitrification is here. There are two main groups of bacteria that make up nitrification. Nitrosomonas and Nitrosococcus. These two groups of bacteria allow for the oxidization of ammonia, or NH4+, to create nitrates, NO2-. The word oxidization is just a fancy way of saying one or many oxygen molecules were added. Remember that ammonia is food? Excuse me, what did the chef add? This meal is absolutely amazing. Ammonia? Wow. That makes a lot of sense as to why this tastes so good. Well, compliments to the chef. After nitrites are made, some of them go through nitrate oxidization and turn into nitrates, which is NO3-. These two chemical compounds are very similar, but to put them into simpler terms, okay, hi? Nitrates, good. Nitrite, bad. All right. Moving on. You always want a little bit of nitrates, but you always want zero nitrites. Nitrites in the water can cause sickness, many types of illnesses, cancer, and even death, and that's not just for fish, that's also for people as well. So when you see those giant green algae blooms, that's nitrites. Don't drink it, unless you want cancer. Nitrites in the water can always turn into nitrates, but this doesn't always happen. It really depends on the balance of bacteria in your tank. Nitrates can be absorbed and they tend to be pretty good for your fish and for your plants, or they could just be thrown back into the air, and this is where denitrification comes in. One more thing, I completely forgot about this. So basically when you take the oxygen and nitrogen from the water, and then you add it into the water, it creates bacteria, and the bacteria dies because there's no food. So then the bacteria eats the other bacteria, and then that bacteria breaks apart into nitrates and nitrites, and then those nitrates get thrown back into the air as oxygen and nitrogen again. Yeah. My gosh, Tiffany, act like you care. You've been wasted for days. I can't keep carrying you around. Hopefully I was able to explain things in a way that makes sense, helps you understand the nitrogen process, the nitrogen cycle a little bit better. If I did miss something or I got something wrong, please let me know in the comments below. I wanted this to be as simple yet complex as possible. I did go in depth in my studies to find out which specific bacteria are used for each and every process. If you would like that, I can make a little short because it would make this video way too long. It was a rabbit hole of 4 months. So let me know if that's something you would like to see. I rubbed my makeup. I need to go to bed because it's late. Goodbye.